so I invite you all to settle in for a moment, whether you are here in the sanctuary or at home or wherever you are on Zoom. Know you are welcome and that we are one in spirit and in heart. I know the COVID numbers have gone up pretty dramatically in our community and in our country. So as we open, I'd like us to just take a moment and settle in together as a community of faith and as kindred souls who walk side by side with one another through all that life holds. And we send forth a great wave of healing blessings to all of those who are ill with COVID or the flu or whatever they may have. Healing blessings just surround and enfold this community. And circles of light and protection surround each and every soul in this community. We see this wave that is occurring now is like that final wave that crashes on the beach and then returns to the sea, leaving the beach calm and peaceful. And so we now take those prayers and blessings for healing and for protection and for peace. And we radiate them out past this area, out to our entire nation. And then out to our entire world. We come back to center, and we realize we have just done exactly what we seek to do, which is to be a presence of light in our shared world. So let us now prepare to light our candles together with "Come Light, Light of God." Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. And I want to thank you all for all of your prayers this week as I recovered from my respiratory condition, which was not COVID. My test finally came back on Monday and it was negative. And so your prayers helped me recover. And I sang "Light, Light of God" this morning without losing my breath. So we together can do all things. Let us claim who and what we are as a spiritual community, and as we say these words, let us really take them to heart. We are an authentic, transformative, spiritual community centered in God. We co-create a world that works for all. And we'll now prepare to sing "I Am Home," and we want to give deep thanks to Clara for being here today. She was scheduled to be off, but Amy and Alexa have both come down with COVID in the last week, so we send them special love and blessings on the wave of the prayer that we sent a few minutes ago. So Clara stepped up, so thank you, thank you, thank you, Clara. I am home.
Shalom, in the Lord. to select songs that you already know. This is All Shall Be Well. All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. And this is the tune of The Water is Wide, but we're singing My Heart is Filled with Love for You. 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 One more time, it's so pretty. My heart is filled with love for you. My heart is filled with love for you. My heart is filled with love for you. My heart is filled with love for you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Clara. Much appreciated. And speaking of appreciation, so this year's theme is appreciation and blessings. And we're going to be looking at two books this year. One is called Sacred Earth, Sacred Soul, and the other one is A Gentle Art of Blessing. So as we go through the next 12 months, they'll have these different themes all going back to this whole idea of that we live in sacred moments, each moment, that we're conscious of it. So I'm going to start off today with kind of expanding on that a little bit. So Richard Rohr says this: in nature we can cultivate an awareness of God. In nature is a sense of transcendence. It looks like a complete oneness with all of creation when you look at nature just at any point. When you look at it reverently, your whole being begins to open up and feel the earth beneath you and the air around you. How absolutely central is the truth that we are first all part of nature. We can't escape it. We can't deny it. And though we are a very special part, because we have that part which is conscious of God. The earth beneath our feet is a giant womb out from which life out of which the life upon which my body depends and our bodies depends. There is a work in the soil, a mystery by which the death of one seed is reborn 1,000-fold into newness of life. The magic of wind, sun, and rain creates a climate that nourishes every living thing. No, my hand is not on the switch. At least that one wasn't. In contemplation of the earth, I know that I am surrounded by the love of God. And so for all of us, I think a walk in the wilderness brings us closer. We're down to the seashore, someplace outside, out of our, and maybe there's a sacred place in your home that just says, this is where I can really feel the divine. And that is why it is important that every day we bless it with a deep feeling of gratitude, because each blessing is the best way to open the floodgates of heaven and letting unlimited good fill our lives. Our source is infinite. The only limitation is in our inability or fear of accepting the all unlimited good that is ours and has no strings attached. So when you think about it, it is our thinking, and New Thought is all about change your thinking, change your life. Reframe it. So every time we have a challenge or something that's in front of us, how difficult or easy it might be, it's an opportunity for us to rethink it, reframe it, put it in a positive note. Maybe it's a lesson that I don't want to learn, but Spirit wants me to know this lesson for some reason or another. Or it may be an unknown blessing that just shows up on my doorstep and I go, thank you, God, for doing it. Or a parking space that opens up, or my day went right. Or on the converse, my day's not going so right, and you go like, okay, take a breath, rethink it, reframe it, and see if it doesn't change how that works. So we'll be looking at that over the course of the next 12 months. And this book called The Gentle Art of Blessing will be the second text that we'll come with. And in that, it really talks about taking every moment as a chance to bless something, somebody, something. And pretty soon, your life just becomes more and more blessed by it. So we'll study that a little bit later. So with that, I'd like to turn us to the daily word for the day. And it's praying for others. And as a prayer chaplain, I have the distinct blessing of praying with others and for others. As many of you know, my mom passed away a couple weeks ago. And it hurt, obviously. But I also felt the prayers of this congregation as people sent them through the airways, and we could feel the presence. I could feel the presence of that. And it really helped as I was working with my dad, who's obviously he's had 76 years with this woman. And so he's a lost soul at the moment. And her passing has brought me a lot closer to my dad as a result of that. And as I pray for him and pray for him finding a place of peace, a place where he can make sense of all this thing, and it's going to be a while, there's no question about that in my mind. I can feel him loosen up. When I call him on the phone, we actually start having a conversation. Normally it was, here's your mom. So he stepped up into that role of being now part of my life in a different form. So praying for others has a lot to do with it. Now, my dad and I always had a pretty close association as a couple guys. But that stayed at more of a head level than a heart level. And so now we're experiencing a bit of a heart level, which for me is an absolute blessing. And I hope for him as well. Pray for others. I am praying for you. Just hearing the words, I am praying for you, helps me relax into the calm strength of a trusted friend's faith. No? Maybe I should have brought it. Reassured, I find my faith growing stronger and stronger. My friend may be next to me, or may be calling me from far away, but the power of prayer is undiminished by distance. Grateful for the gift of others praying for me, I welcome every opportunity to pray for anyone who asks. Having heard the prayer need, I let go of concern. In faith, I behold the Christ presence within the one for whom I pray. Knowing the truth of another's wholeness, I release all thoughts of illness. I affirm divine wisdom guiding important decisions and divine strength relieving any weakness. I feel the warmth of God's love bringing peace and restoring hopes to those I hold in prayer. From 1 Thessalonians, we always give thanks to God for all of you and mention you in our prayers. I am praying for you. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. And I think your microphone was doing funny things because your energy was so big and so big and so blessed that you're vibrating. There are times where we vibrate at a different level. And so that was just a reflection of the high vibrations inside and trying to figure out how to get them out. And we have all been holding you in prayer. And this morning and yesterday, as I was working on the talk, I actually took that book home and was going to use a quote from it. And in prayer, I got, no, not this Sunday. And it was the one you read. Synchronicity and spirit unites us in amazing ways. I just love it. So let us prepare for this time of prayer and meditation where each one of us journeys into that sacred place within, but sitting in the midst, either physically or spiritually, of a circle of kindred souls who hold you with tender, loving care as you pray and offer tender, loving care for you as well. So let us settle in with our beautiful sanctuary.
Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
And so take a moment to settle in to that sanctuary that abides at the core of your being and allow Spirit to unfold it for you where it welcomes you in. You notice how it feels. You feel the presence of the divine all around you and within you, and you settle into this sacred place. Settle in now with however Spirit gifts you this sacred space this day. Allow the presence of Spirit to bring you all the healing and all the energy that you need at a physical level so that you can do that which you've been sent to do. Allow Spirit to infill your mind and your thoughts, your perceptions, bringing a peace that passes all understanding as you allow yourself to release old thought patterns that no longer serve you and to welcome those that will help you see the blessings everywhere and see them and know them at a deep level of consciousness. Allow Spirit to now infill your heart, that vessel of compassion and love, of connection and communion between you and all of life. Allow it to be infilled with a gentle, tender, loving light, like a candle brought into a darkened room, where the light grows and fills every shadowed corner. Let the light of love so infill your heart and radiate from you out to the world. And now let Spirit enfold you at a level of soul, that eternal spark of the divine that you are, a beloved child of the divine, remembering that you are an eternal spiritual being, having this earthly experience for a divine reason. Allow this truth to infill and uplift you and your life exactly as it is right now, and open to receive all of the guidance, the comfort, the inspiration that is yours this day as the presence of God with you on your path of soul unfolding. And so now, as fellow pilgrims on this path of life, I invite each now to gather all of the prayers that are theirs this day, for themselves, this congregation, others, our shared world. Gather these sweet prayers together, and silently or aloud, however you are so guided, speak them and release them into the very arms and presence of the divine, trusting that the unfolding will be amazing and miraculous at right and perfect time and highest and best for all. And so we pray. Unity of Lord down, Son. And we add to these prayers all of those entrusted to the High Watch prayer chaplains, Amy and Alexa and all others, for miraculous healing and restoration of health and life and energy, holding David and his family close to heart, and especially holding near and dear David's father, as he navigates this world still with his beloved partner beside him, but not in the same form. May he feel her presence each day. And may he realize that the love she exemplified and lived at his side is still present in his world, coming through the children and the family that they created together. So let us each gather our lives up now and prepare to return to our outer lives, renewed, restored, and rededicated. And this day, as a blessing upon your soul journey, I gift you with the prayer of Saint Teresa of Lisieux. We have our own Saint Teresa, David's partner here at Unity. And so I always think of her as well when I share this prayer. May today there be peace within. May you trust your highest power that you are exactly where you are meant to be. May you not forget the infinite possibilities that are born of faith. May you use those gifts you have received and pass on the love that has been given to you. May you be content knowing you are a child of God. Let this presence settle into your bones and allow your soul the freedom to sing and to dance. It is there for each and every one of you. And so with this presence settled into your bones, calming your mind and filling your heart with unconditional love and reminding your soul what an amazing spark of the divine you are. Let us now link our inner and outer lives consciously as we once again seal this time and link it with our outer lives as we sing Sanctuary.
Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, open-hearted, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I am a living sanctuary for you.
Namaste. I behold the Christ light, the divine in each and every one of you. And now, a beautiful instrumental piece with Clara. Beautiful. Just breathe that in for a minute. And as you were playing, I realized something. Spirit is always expressing through us in so many different ways. And we think about our voice as being here. Your voice this day was here as well. Couldn't you feel Clara's essence coming through there? So, thank you. Oh, now I got to give a talk. Could we just have her play that 3 times and we'll call it a day? It was just beautiful. Oh, today I'm talking about the power of intention. And I know for most of us, when we think about intention, it's setting an intention, a goal. But that's just the first step of the power of intention. It's living it and expressing it and doing it as life unfolds. And I want to thank Karen King for doing just a wonderful message about how that inner intention and outer life link. It was so interesting. She was supposed to speak the last Sunday in December, and that was when the snow and ice storm hit. And then we were going to do the Burning Bowl on the 3rd. The snow was still here, so she switched to the 9th. And then when she spoke last week, she was a bit under the weather herself. So thank you for stepping up. You were truly the voice of Spirit on last Sunday and always. So the power of intention and the power of thought lie at one of the core beliefs of New Thought and unity. One of our 5 principles is this: the creative power of thought is our divine inheritance. Through this, we form our lives and our world, and we seek to do it consciously and gracefully. I love those last 2 words. Sometimes I do it more consciously than others, and sometimes more gracefully than others. But this is where the world begins, is within our minds, our thoughts, and our lives and our world come from the within and express in the without. And we tend to forget that. We get so caught up with outer appearances that we forget that whatever's going on at some level of soul, we've helped to co-create. But the thing that I have always believed is that with whatever is being created, it is a moment to feel and find the presence of God. In some situations, it's far harder to see than in others, but it is ever and always there. And how we think and how we perceive and how we interpret what's going on in the world is what not only affects us individually, but affects us communally. And I think we're living in a time where things have sped up in some ways and slowed down in others as we've gone through this last 2 years. And so the importance of realizing that even when the outer world is changing and doing very weird things, the realm in which you have dominion is that inner realm of your heart, how you feel about the world and others, and your head, how do you think about the world and others. I remember years ago hearing, this was at ministerial school, that one of the greatest gifts you can give to another is safe passage through your mind. Isn't that interesting? And by the way, that includes yourself. Do you give yourself safe passage through your own mind? And when I first heard about how we create our lives, part of me was like, oh, what a relief to be able to find meaning in this and then have conscious choices about how I respond rather than just react to the outer world. And the other part of me was going, oh my gosh, that's a huge responsibility. And one of the things that I found as I did begin to really work with this is how it absolutely will manifest. We did the Burning Bowl and Vision Quest and set our intentions. By setting those intentions, you have put an energy field moving forward, just like David did this morning. It may blow out a microphone or two in your life, but you've sent out this beacon of light, but it's up to you to follow it. Out in the lobby, you'll see a number of the collages that people have created. And we've got one for unity. And back at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, everybody find an image or a word that you'd like to contribute to the unity collage. Well, it's taken us almost 2 years, but we have it. So bring your pictures, mail them, drop them off by the church, and once we gather them, we'll put them all in the collage. And I want this collage to be our intention as a spiritual community as to what we are going to be co-creating together. Because as we come back out of this pandemic, we've got a beautiful foundation here, but it's up to all of us to rebuild and to develop what we want to have, not just for us, but what we want to offer to our community and to the world. I can't imagine my life without unity and the support of all of you. And I would love for us to unite in getting that light out to the world. So there's an intention. But then, what do we do each step of the way getting there? It's a journey. It was interesting. I made all these notes, and then this morning in the shower, I got a whole different idea, so that's the one you're getting. I'll save this talk for another day. But I realize that when you set an intention, the power of intention is that it gives you a touchstone. That as you go through life and decide, this day, how am I going to spend my time, my talent, my treasure, and my touch? If you can remember your highest and clearest intention, you can make the choices that will move you forward on that path. It's not seeing is believing. It's the other way around. It's believing is seeing. Perception is not so much what you see, but how you see. And so as you live this intention, doing it consciously is so important. You have been given the gift of being a co-creator with the divine. That's a heavy responsibility, and it's also this incredible joy to be part of creating something wonderful by putting your energy into it. So how we see the world is so important. And I know that this last year has had us change how we see so many things. We've reprioritized things. We've pulled back as we've needed to. It's given us, it gave time for a while for Mother Earth to heal until we all came back out of our houses again. We need to remember that, how quickly nature responded when we treated her with a gentle touch rather than trotting through. The same is true of our lives, our relationships. And we've realized how important it is to have people that we love and that we get together with. If we can't do it in person, we got so creative, we came up with and utilized Crowdcast and Zoom for your non-techie minister. We learned how to do this morning. There are a bunch of you here on Zoom, and you're no less present than those that are sitting here now. And so the image that I got in the shower this morning is that when you set an intention, it's like you're starting out on a road trip. You've decided, okay, I want to go to Boston. That's where I'm headed. And so how do you get to Boston? You don't get there by sitting in your living room going, I'm going to Boston, I'm going to Boston, I'm going to Boston. You can go there consciously. You can watch videos on TV or on YouTube. You can read books about Boston, but to really experience and live Boston, you have to include not only your mind, but your heart, your body, and your soul. I believe our deepest intentions come from our souls. That before we were born, we each had not this detailed life laid out, but what energies did we want to experience? What did we want to learn? What did we want to offer and give as our presence and our legacy to the world? And that is what our whole soul journey is about. So when we set the intention, when it comes from that deep inner place, it has a peace and a power with it, even if you have no idea how it's going to do. Mary Manon Morrissey says, the universe can only do for you what it can do through you. So you are a co-creator. And I think all of us are really ready for a literal road trip as well as a metaphorical one. Oh, I'm a traveler. I'm part gypsy. For me to not go anywhere for 2 years was just unheard of. And yet, the thing that I know is that even though I couldn't physically go anywhere, I could do the inner work so that when the time comes, I was ready. And I realized that even though I wasn't journeyed to different places physically, I could journey to them spiritually, creatively, energetically. And so now, when I looked at intention, I realized every year is a road trip for those of us who do the Burning Bowl and Vision Quest service, every year. And how are we going to navigate that path? It's about checking in, making sure you have all the supplies you need. I've led many pilgrimages, and one of the things that I share with the pilgrims is we meet multiple times before we actually take off on the journey. And it's that preparation so that when you go, you are open to receive the blessings at a whole new level. You recognize you're on a spiritual adventure, a pilgrimage. And so by setting the intention and then letting it go, you get to see how it plays out in unexpected and amazing ways. Later in the service, we're going to sing Ben Bachner's wonderful song, Unknown Blessings Already on Their Way, and we have them on that quote on the cover of the new bulletin. It's being prepared and willing to have the eyes to see the miracles as they unfold on the journey. It's not what you see, but how you see. And so you start on the journey and you've got your map, or you've got your GPS system, or you've got your cell phone. I still kind of like the maps, although half the challenge is in figuring out how to fold them back up and get them in the glove box again. But to see that to get from here to here, I'm going to take this highway this far, and then I'll take this highway the next. And if you make a mistake and go the wrong way, I've discovered it's usually not a mistake. There's something wonderful for me to find by going off the planned path a bit. And then you can look at your map and navigate how to get back where you want to be to go forward. Don't interpret taking byways as a mistake. There are no mistakes. There's just the perception of a mistake. Every opportunity is filled with blessings all along the way. Even when you hit times of great challenge or you feel like you're lost and you can't figure out where you are on the map. That's why having a spiritual center is so important. That is your greatest GPS, your guided prayer system. If each day you just take a moment to touch that touchstone of your intention, and then what this day will take me a few steps closer to that. And that includes not only doing action that will help that intention manifest, it's also gifting yourself with time to rest, time to be nourished. When you travel, you stop for food and water. In the ancient times, no one journeying in the desert would ever bypass an oasis. They would go out of their way to be sure they found the oasis where there was water. There was companionship of other people sitting around the fire, each telling stories and sharing the wisdom of what they'd learned on the journey they had made. They can tell the other people around the fire that night, don't go that way, there's a band of marauders. There have been a bunch of sandstorms out that direction, so go this way instead, sharing the journey together of the wisdom that we each gain, and then be willing to gift it to others and to the world. As you journey on this, you get these unexpected stops, but you also can choose to make those stops that on a road trip when you were a kid were the highlight of the whole trip. I love watching the CBS morning show. They showed some of the interesting places. You can stop and see the world's biggest ball of twine. You can see an art field full of Cadillacs sticking out of the ground. All kinds of strange and interesting things, as well as the museums that hold beautiful artwork. The parks that hold the energies of those places and the landscape that you're traveling through so you can really experience instead of just driving through. So I want you to remember that your intention that you set and aligning your thoughts with that is not a rigid engine that you cannot stop. It is an inner guidance system and a vision that you get to co-create, and that will invite you to learn more about yourself and others and the world if you just allow it to unfold. And remember to stop when something interesting shows up. It won't slow down your journey. It will actually enrich it, because we need to rest, we need to replenish, so we have the energy to then do that next push. And so be gentle, be kind, nourish and care for yourself, particularly this coming year. It's going to be a continued process. So take the time in the midst of your intention to care for yourself at every level of being, and to welcome those interesting tourist stops along the way. I've once heard that the greatest gift you can give yourself is a spirit of curiosity. Curiosity. Where are the blessings? What's new here? How can I really experience not just the goal, but where I am along the way? and to find those blessings wherever they are. A road trip that is a soul journey for life, and the presence of God all along the way. I know when I was in ministerial school, getting into ministerial school, and while I was there, it was miracle after miracle, where it was just this incredible flow of the divine, that I had the resources to go, that I was accepted, and that I went. And then halfway through, my resources were thin, and I got called in with 5 other students, and we were gifted with full scholarships for the second year. Our instructors had selected us as ones that they wanted to support as unfolding ministers. And so it chokes me up to still remember that. I got called into the dean's office, and my first thought was, oh, what have I done wrong? It's like being called into the principal's office. How often? It's not what you see, but how you see. Sitting out there, I was nervous. And I walk in, and there's this incredible blessing. Things like that happen for all of us in big and small ways all along the trip. And so I made it through and graduated and was ordained. And then the very next day, my classmates married Lane and I underneath a tree at Unity Village, underneath a big oak tree. We're very well sealed because all of my classmates said, we now pronounce you husband and wife. We're glued together very well. And so all of this, and we moved back to Texas, and then after a while, I'm realizing I haven't found really how and where I need to serve. It seemed like life just was full of challenges, and everything was like, oh no, where did the flow go? I was happy. I was with my beloved Lane. We were there with family. There were so many wonderful things. But at the same time, I was feeling a little lost and disconnected. And I'll never forget, I was working on my office, and I was trying to find plastic boxes that were the same size to store things. I'm organized. And I went to 3 different stores. The final one was Walmart. And in McKinney, Texas, I still remember. And I went in, and they didn't have the boxes. And I burst into tears. And I went back out to the car, and I cried, and I cried. I said, where did God go? I can't even find plastic boxes. I just graduated from ministerial school. I'm supposed to be spiritual and know God. And where's God? And as I cried in that car, I realized God's right here. I'll never forget that moment. The plastic box crisis opened me up to cry and to be present in that moment, even though things weren't unfolding. And I realized that it was my perception. God hadn't disappeared. The divine presence hadn't abandoned me. I just wasn't perceiving it. And so this incredible gift came in that moment that reminded me of something I knew when it was a big event. I'd been a nurse and a hospital chaplain and walked through people with horrific things. That I navigated. It was the little nitty-gritty daily things of our own lives that sometimes trip us up. Many of the spiritual teachers say, if you want to see where you are on the spiritual path, get on a freeway during rush hour and see how you respond. So from this moment of crying in the car over plastic boxes, I got this knowing that I know that God is always with me. and that the blessings are always there. And that on your road trip, if you find yourself crying over plastic boxes at a Walmart in the middle of Kansas or wherever you are on your road trip, it's okay. The whole thing is the unfolding of your life and your soul. And you don't have to be perfect in how you do it. You just need to be willing to be present. Myrtle Fillmore says this: the same Christ spirit that was in Jesus is implanted in all of the children of God. There is really no limit to spiritual unfoldment, even in Walmart parking lots. The truth of spirit within your soul is that it is giving you a right understanding of every experience that comes to you, and you are being called to some of your inactive and unused soul powers that you need to call into expression to meet the need of that moment. You are developing your own soul, and that is the most important thing. So the power of your thoughts create, but it takes the energy of your heart to impel it out into the world, and the willingness of your soul to embody it completely and totally as you move through this life. Start where you are and notice the blessings before you even take that first step. Realize as you prepare that God is there. And then along the way, wherever that road trip takes you, whether you get to Boston or not, make this journey one that is conscious and graceful. I'd like to invite all of us at Unity here in Port Townsend to hold a shared intention and to journey with it this year. We've got bumper stickers we'd made about 2 years ago. Michael McKee funded the project. I still have one on my car. Make America Kind Again. Make America kind again. Make the world kind again. And so I invite each of you to join me in the intention of creating a world and lives filled with kindness. Because when you act and respond with a soft heart of kindness, you see the blessings, you accept others in ways that your mind might challenge you from accepting, but your heart sees them. And so I invite you all to take a journey with me this year and to hold as part of your intention and our shared intention that we will make ourselves, our lives, our world kind. May we step forward in this and see where it takes us. See where the surprises are. Be curious about the opportunities for you to be kind and to recognize when another has been kind to you. Notice, be aware, because the blessings are ever and always with you. As that wonderful quote that David read, that was a part of my talk and is. And it's so wonderful to do it together. An unknown blessing already on the way that we all got to experience this morning. So may you be blessed as you use the power of your mind to create your intention, but also to live it, to do it consciously, and to do it with a grace that allows you to stay connected to the blessings and the presence of the divine wherever that road trip takes you. Safe journey, my friends. I can't think of anybody I'd rather be in the car with. And with all of you, I never ask, are we there yet? Because with this crew, I don't care how long it takes. We're together. Let us pray. Oh, sweet, sweet Spirit, in you we live and move and have our being. Oh, our creative power of thought is where so much begins. Let us realize that our intentions, our desires, our divine inspiration. It's the breath of God infilling us. Our thoughts as we create our world is that divine expression of who we are as we breathe out. And may we remember that we are here to serve the highest and best of all. And may we transcend the limitations of the outer world, working with spirit and seeing life as pilgrimage, as soul journey. And as the wonderful Wicked Witch says in Wicked, let us defy gravity. Let your road trip be one that's like a Jetsons flying car sometimes. Let Spirit lift you up and make the journey one of joy and wonder. Let us be like children, but with the wisdom of the sages. For this journey we give deep and abiding thanks. Om, Amen, and blessed be. I love you all. And so now, Santo, 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 as you let those energies settle into your being.
Santo, 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 mi corazón te adora, mi corazón sabe decir, Santo eres, Señor. Sing any part you know. We'll do it in English. Holy, 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 my heart adores you. My heart is glad to say the words, you are holy, Lord. Holy, 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 my heart adores you. My heart is glad to say the words, you are holy, Lord. Santo, 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 mi corazón te adora, mi corazón te sabe decir, Santo eres, Señor. Santo, 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 mi corazón te adora, mi corazón te sabe decir, Santo eres, Señor.
Santo, Santo, Santo. So this last couple of days, Thich Nhat Hanh passed away. And he was the crusader of mindfulness. And he would say to all of this, it's just paying attention in the moment. It's not yesterday. It's not the Boston. I mean, we got to pay attention to us, but it is being attention and being mindful in the moment. And he lived that, of course, in his life, and he certainly explained it to us during his lifetime. And that really is what we're talking about. The whole thing about walking through our life mindfully, choosing our thoughts, choosing our how we react, how we see the world as a blessing at all the time. And that each thing is an opportunity for us to grow in that respect. So with that, it's a time in our service where we receive the offering. I invite you to take out your offering. I'm going to grab Pam here and just bring her over, and I'll just talk in her ear.
Testing 1, 2.
Well, yeah. It's all about me, right? Anyway, we'll take our offering in your heart, your hand, and your head, and we'll bless it as we do here each week. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful indeed. And as we do receive the offering, we will have one of my very favorite songs.
Chorus. That's the only
Just
part
the
I know.
chorus,
But
right?
it's the best part, don't you think?
Always
And
is.
they're already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way. Yes, they're already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way, already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way. Yes, they're already on their way, already on their way. Give thanks for unknown blessings, already on their way.
And here she is, the unknown blessing showing up. Sweet, sweet Spirit, Mother, Father, God, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful thing we call life, the opportunity to experience and grow and be part of a greater community and part of this planet. So we send these gifts that we receive here today forward through this ministry to our community, to the larger community, and across the planet, that each person may find that place in them where they know that they know that they know, and act from that place. And as we do that, and we do that consciously, bringing forward the Christ Spirit in each person, we create heaven on earth. And let us do that in our lifetime. And so it is. Amen. So, we are about ready to do the announcements, but I have, first of all, an apology. You may have noticed that it's a little nippy in the sanctuary. Oh, that's because there's something going on in the heater that's not right. And we recently had some four-legged friends show up, decide that they wanted to winter in our attic, and so we've been eliminating, putting them back out. I thought maybe one might have gotten inside the fan, but that's not the case, I don't think. I think it's a bearing. But anyway, we'll get that taken care of. So my apologies for you at home. Good choice today. So a couple of three things. We got the new book series. The book is out in the library. It's Sacred Earth, Sacred Soul. And that series will start on February 8th. So it's coming up in a couple of weeks. So get your copy of the book, and then that'll be the Tuesday class that Pam leads. She'll do that, and the Magdalene class, I think, will introduce. But anyways, get a copy of the book, because we'll be following that as this year goes along. Let's see, we got all the other normal critters that you know about. They're all on the website. Reverend Roberts crowdcast, Reverend Simon's crowdcast, the meditation groups that meet here in the sanctuary. Take advantage of those. Are available for anybody. So if you're curious about what the Ananda group is about, Monday afternoon they come here at 4 o'clock in the sanctuary. We have a Buddhist group that is meeting back in the hearth. So take advantage. It's open to all, and they would love to have you here. Also, we got yoga. That's a Zoom thing, so you can stretch your body while you're stretching your mind. And I think that's it. And we got the visioning boards out there. I was noticing those the other day when I was in and there's some very creative people that were in that class. So those plants came from the warehouse. So I think those came out of the staging group, or they came from Beverly, one of the two. But isn't that nice having something? Yeah. And the good thing is, you don't have to water them. Yeah, they do. They clean up that side. And while we're talking about things that are changing in the sanctuary, you'll notice the monitors around there. We're rapidly moving towards being able to produce on the screens. We'll have the words to the songs and maybe some stuff coming in from the outside, and so that'll be happening here in probably the next 30 days. So, well, it'll be a big here we are, 21st century. Okay, with that, I think we are just about ready to conclude. So, I invite you to stand if you like, and we'll sing the peace song. And yes, there is peace on.
Yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be with God as creator. United all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
As the light of God we shine, and as the love of God we embrace, and as the power of God we stand in truth, and as the presence of God we endeavor to express our divinity in all that we do. And let that be so. As we clang the church bell,
And
the candles, singing our light into the world, in, through, and as us. You are blessed and you are blessing. I love you all.
have a great week.